You know that feeling, right? You're working hard, doing all the responsible things, but there's still this constant financial tension simmering just below the surface. And then you look over and you see other people who just seem calmer, more secure. All right, so let's get into why that is.
It really just boils down to two completely different paths. On one side, you've got the worker, who often feels rushed, a little uncertain. And on the other side, you have the architect, who just seems to be in control. Now, the big secret here is that the difference isn't about working harder. It's about having a completely different kind of financial structure.
So, what's the real difference maker? It is not just about earning more money. I promise you that. The thing that changes the game is the blueprint you're using to build your financial life. See, earning money is one thing, but building wealth, that's another thing entirely.
So the very first step, where it all begins, is actually a mental one. It's about making this fundamental shift in how you see your money. Moving your focus away from just the next paycheck and towards something so much bigger.
And the key to that is one powerful word: ownership. And when we say that, what we really mean is acquiring assets, things like stocks, maybe a rental property, or even a creative project that brings in royalties. This is the stuff that produces value for you even when you're not actively working. This is the true engine of financial freedom.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's brilliant. Your job, your income, that's what sustains your lifestyle. It pays the bills day to day. But it's ownership that actually creates freedom. That's what gives you choices and real control over your own time.
Okay, so how do we build this? Well, it all comes down to that blueprint for freedom we've been talking about. And it rests on 5 absolutely essential pillars of what we're going to call wealth architecture. Now, the first 3 pillars are really the foundation. You got to get these right. It all starts with control. You have to know exactly where your money is going, period. Stop the leaks. Then comes discipline. This is about building habits that serve the future you, not just the you that wants something right now. And finally, you need structure. This means creating a system so all the progress you make doesn't just get, accidentally spent.
And what's so cool is seeing how this idea of structure really works. By dividing your money into clear buckets with specific jobs, like, say, a big chunk for stability, a solid piece for growth, and a slice just for self-development, you start to take emotion out of your financial decisions. You're not just vaguely spending or saving anymore. You're allocating every dollar with a purpose.
Let's get to the 4th pillar, because this is where things really start to take off. This is the accelerator. Wealth creation kicks into an entirely new gear when you stop trading your time for money and you start creating value that can scale up, way beyond your own efforts.
This chart just makes the difference so incredibly clear. With time-based work, your input is hours and your output is pretty much fixed. But with value-based work, your input is solving problems and your output, it can scale like crazy. That's real financial leverage.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually apply this blueprint in the real world? Like, right now, let's get practical.
Here's the modern game plan, step by step. First, you take a part of every single paycheck and you turn it into a productive asset. Next, you automate that whole process. You make saving and investing a system, not a choice you have to make every day. Then, you separate your spending into those clear categories to protect your stability. And finally, you focus on building skills that increase your impact, not just your workload. And it keeps going. You shift your focus to actual cash flow, not just looking wealthy. You get really thoughtful and strategic about debt and taxes. And here's a huge one, a part that's so often overlooked. You have to invest in your non-financial assets. We're talking about your relationships, your reputation, and long-term trust. Because believe me, in the long run, trust is a currency all on its own.
So after going through this entire blueprint, what's the new mindset we should walk away with? What's the architect's core philosophy here?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to burn this into your brain. Income keeps the lights on, for sure, but it's ownership that gives you the freedom to design the entire house you want to live in.
Second, you have to understand that discipline is this quiet engine that's always working in the background. It's building momentum, it's building strength, long before you ever see the big results. You just have to trust the process.
Third, remember that structure is your greenhouse. Without it, any progress you make can just get blown away by impulse. But a good system, a good structure, protects your gains from all that and gives them a safe place to grow and compound over time. And never, ever forget the power of value. Your true earning potential isn't capped by the 24 hours in a day.
It's determined by the scale of the problems you can solve for other people.
And finally, when you take control of your finances, it totally transforms money from this source of stress into a tool for strategy. It stops being something that just happens to you, and it becomes something that starts working for you.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Whether you realize it or not, your money is always working, 24/7. So the only question left to ask is, have you given it the right set of instructions, the right blueprint, to build the future you actually want?